and click notification bell.
Salutations, friends and strangers of the interwebs. Welcome back to the channel, Stevie Wonder Woman. I am said Stevie. So, this video is going to be something obscene. Real quick, got a dirty band-aid on my pinky. I sliced it pretty. This is a Benchmade bandage. It's 3 of them, actually. Sliced myself really good while I was at the Pacific Northwest meetup yesterday on a crooked river. Bled all over the countertop. Yeah, anyway, so I'm a little impaired. It's a good slice, but it'll be fine. Today, I am going to ramble on about one of my favorite knives while doing as you can see here, some maintenance, disassembly, change out some bearings. Anyway, I've never really done a video on one of my favorite knives, the Something Obscene Company J-Cape v3.5. So this is the card of authenticity that it comes in. This is a, so first off, I got a bag of extra hardware that came from my old flipper J-Cape. This is the murdered out, completely blacked out thumb stud variant, and it has awesome action on it. It is a little dirty from carrying it so much, but yeah, I figured now's a good time for me to just, while I'm doing the disassembly, to ramble on about it. I have changed the pocket clip on it. It comes with see if I can get this open here real quick. So future variations will actually come with both clips, but it came originally with the standard J-Cape pocket clip. I am not a fan of this at all. I know a lot of people are. I'm not. I was lucky enough to score one of the second options. That, like I said, now they will come standard with both clips if Felix does any more. v3.5s. Anyway, yeah, I do have the aftermarket pocket clip. Not aftermarket, but the second option pocket clip. So I'm just going to start getting into this while I ramble. This is all T8 hardware on it, and I don't have to take anything off of the show side. I only have to take off the back screws and the pivot to start the disassembly. So I'm going to start by getting the right size Torx bit. Alright, that was the T10. I needed to grab my T8. I'm not at my desk where all my tools are. I'm out at my kitchen table, but I'm going to start back to front. Is how I like to take my knives apart. So, yeah, the J-Cape v3.5 was close to being my 2021 knife of the year. It lost out just ever so slightly to the Nimble. My opinions have changed slightly since then, only a couple months, but this is a phenomenal knife. Everything about it I love. It's my only coated blade in my collection. Not true. I just got the Kaiser Quatch from Jack's Lungs, and that's a coated blade. But here it is. But this is not typically something I would ever want murdered out or all blacked out. But for some reason with the J-Cape, I love it. The stonewashed, it's kind of like a blackwashed blade. It's phenomenal. Yeah, so I'm going to start, where do I start? So, my good friend, Knife Nerd Reviews, aka Johnny J-Cape, who has more J-Capes than anyone else I know, recommended, instead of using the 1/4-inch skiffs that do fit it perfectly, try these 6mm 16th inch 13 ball bearings on it. He says they snug to the pivot ever so slightly more and gives it more pivot rigidity. So I'm going to try that. And you can see right now, let me see. Let me get that bearing. All right. So they're very close. Very, very, very close. However, so this is the... You can still see here. I'm going to zoom in ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. You can see here on the pivot, there's still a little bit of play. Little bit, not much, little bit. These, let me get that set off to the side. They're supposed to snug it just ever. Oh yeah, that's really a lot better. I can already tell. So dropping them down, they fit exactly. It's just the inside diameter of the bearings that make them, again, give it just a little bit more pivot rigidity. So I'm going to set those 1/4 inch offs to the side and use that for something else another day. So we're just going to have the, again, these are skiff 6mm. Focus, damn it. 6mm, 16th inch, 13 ball count. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can go and pick these up from Skiff's website. Yeah, so I'm gonna start cleaning this. Let's give it a little spritzy spritz with some alcohol. I'm going to clean off the both sides of the blade. Just a little bit more. Spritz. I believe that's 90% alcohol, by the way, is what I use. So I am just going to clean out the bearing pockets on the blade. One of the ways you can tell the difference between a V3 and a v3.5, another thing I learned from my buddy Johnny J. Cape, is the V3 when it was still made by We. This is a Riot production, by the way. Up until 3.5, they were all We. 3.5 was moved to Riot, but the blades, they still look extremely the same. The blades, I believe, if my memory serves me from watching one of Johnny J. Cape's videos, are, the blades are milled to fit the bearings in there. They are not on the V3 and below. So, I am just, you can see the steel lock bar insert there. And it does have steel washers internally there. So I'm just going to give this a nice wipe down. Why don't I just back out that pivot there. Give that the old wipe down. Keep my stop pin in place. But yeah, this J-Cape is just something that... It's one of those knives that until you handle it, you don't realize how awesome they are. And I know not everybody thinks that, but I think those people are wrong. No. It was one of those knives that I initially was not drawn to, got it in hand and was like, oh my gosh, I love this. And yeah, this is my second one. I used to have a flipper. It was a JG10 show scale that I dyed black. And it had the black blade on it, black show scale, or clip scale, but it was a flipper. When the newest drop came in for the 3.5s, I sold that and got a thumb stud only. I kind of wish I would have gotten the flipper and then added thumb studs. That would have been really dope, because you can't obviously go back and add a flipper to the thumb studs, but you can do that in reverse. But anywho, that's what I did, and I love this knife though. So while I'm talking here, I am only going to, so again, back up. People have said, oh my god, you use Gunny Glide and you use KPL in the same, yeah. The only reason why I'm using Gunny Glide is because my bottle of KPL disappeared. Can't find it. Rolled off my desk somewhere, and it's hiding somewhere in my office. So I have this Gunny Glide, and it... you can't smell this, obviously, but I think it's the tobacco scent, and I really like it. But honestly, I think they're both the same. Johnny J. Cape recommends nano oil. He uses nano oil on everything. I do not. Just because I have this. Maybe I'll move to nano oil at some point. Also, Justin from OCD for ECD has developed some grease. When I was at the Pacific Northwest meetup yesterday, I got to check it out. And so that'll be coming from OCD for ECD here pretty soon. Grease as opposed to lubrication. I have fulfilled the lubrication needs of using the Gunny Glide. The only other lubrication I'm going to do when I put this back together is, well, I'll just do it now. I'm going to drop a dab of KPL Heavy on the detint ball spots on the blade and on the detent ball itself. It's probably a little too much, but oh well. But yes, the J-Cape, you can see wonderful job done from Riot with the internal milling. Really keeps this knife it's a big knife. Really kept down the weight because of these big weight relief pockets that are milled in. There's actually a little bit of coffee, I'm realizing, in here. I spilt my coffee on my knife earlier before I started making the video. Speaking of which, beverage check. I'm drinking some, what is this? Canada Dry, 0 calorie, what is it? Ginger ale. And this was just for a prop effect, but this is like a slap koozie. You can put over a can and have something obscene help keep your beverage cold. Anyway, I digress. Very good job on the internal milling. Really helps keep the weight down on this. This is ready to start reassembling. And now all we're going to be left with doing is, one, maybe turning down the volume a little bit so I don't have to feel like I'm yelling. And then one of the awesome things... Oh, I didn't put the bearing on now, did I? That would have been foolish. So I don't put bearing, or I don't put lube between the bearing and the blade, just on the backside of the... Just on the backside of the bearing and the washer. But one of the... Well, now I'm just knocking shit around. There went the microphone. There goes the neighborhood. Sorry, folks. Getting a little off the rails here. But one of the awesome things about the J-Cape is the ring that you get on these when they deploy. And Johnny J-Cape also gave me a method to try to tune that and get a little bit more ring out of it. So the first thing we're going to have to do is put these body screws back in. Make sure those are snug down. Snug down. Now let's put the pivot back in position and tighten that down. This is all titanium hardware as well. Alright, so check centering. Centering seems to be extremely well. No blade play. Let's check how it's dropping. I think I can back that off just a skosh. Let's hear if it's ringing as is. No, not so much. Action is there, though. No, maybe back that off just a hair, or... Yeah, let me back it off just a little bit. Little blade pay. There we go. should be a drop or a guillotine now. It is. Yep, it's ringing a little bit. Ringing just a little bit. But one of the tricks that he made... Let me pause this so we can actually hear the ringing a little bit better. Quiet on the set. Is that coming up? Is that coming through? Not so much. So, let's start on the trick that John, the OG Knife Nerd, by the way. Knife Nerd reviews, the OG Knife Nerd, K-N-E-R-D. Often replicated, never duplicated. He, again, is the OG Knife Nerd. Not the imposter. But one of the tricks that he recommended to try to dial it in and get it to ring is back your pivot off. Then on the back side, just start rotating the pivot slightly. Tighten down your pivot screw. Check it again. Ooh, you hear that? Now she completely rings. Yes. That is the acoustics that I want. That is the action that I want. Look at how smooth that's a guillotine. So I know that the pivot's in the right spot. I am going to, all right, before, I don't want to keep flicking this once I Loctite it, so is that where I want it? Ooh, what happened? Back that off just a skosh. There it is. I am going to Loctite this. And then I'm just going to be done one more time just before. Yep, that's where I'm going to want it. Yep. Sounds exactly like I want it. It's dropping just like I want it. So before I finish up the video, I'm going to be... I'll talk about it a little bit more, but I'm no longer going to be really flicking it hard because I don't want this to not Loctite properly. So I'm going to, I use Loctite on a stick here. I'm going to get a smear on there. And I know John said that he likes to use a toothpick to work it in, but I am just going to take the tip of my driver here and make sure that it is in all the threads. It is. Let me wipe down the tip of my bit, and now let's drop that in there. So the pivot does walk on this if you don't have it Loctited. I haven't Loctited it ever, and I always have to retighten this pivot. So that's right where I need it to be. So I'm going to let this cure now for quite some time. I'll give it, I think it only needs 24 hours, but I'm going to give it a couple days just to be safe. But yeah, everything about this knife, let me wipe off some of the fingerprints. I do like everything about this knife. There's a couple of things I would change if I'm just nitpicking, but for the most part, I love it. Starting with the blade, look at the the bevels and the different grinds on this. This is a hollow grind on this. I would like this blade to swoop, to harpoon, or kind of swoop just a little bit more. I think that would be cool. And I also would love to see this in a bigger blade. Handle is perfect. I'd like to see like another 1/4 inch on this blade. I think that would be awesome. You would have to extend the scales would have to be bigger because you don't really have much more room to take up as is. But this knife, a 1/4 inch, maybe, yeah, not even a half inch, a quarter inch to a half inch direction in either way, or in both ways, I think would be perfect. I would also like to see this be incorporated. I think that I like it when a blade runs the full length like this, and the choil works itself into the handle. So this choil as is right there isn't a usable choil for me and my big sausage fingers. And you see that? If I try to use this as a forward finger choil, I'm getting nicked right in there. Now it's not breaking the skin, but it could break the skin. Very easily could break the skin. So this isn't a knife that I'm going to choke up on, which is a shame because it's got this awesome thumb ramp right here. The jimping is perfect on it, and I would love to be able to choke up and use that as a usable finger choil. As is, this is still fine. I still get a full 4 on it, and I have used this, and you can't really even tell on the blade. I have cut with this several times. It's a phenomenal blade. And the blade steel, as you can see, where is the blade steel marking? It's ever so slight, right here. You see, well, you're not seeing it because my camera won't focus, but it is CPM 20 CV. I think that's my favorite blade steel. CPM 20 CV and LMAX are my two favorite steels. So it's perfect on the steel for me. This is extremely, extremely, extremely sharp. It's still got the factory edge on it. It's held a very, very nice edge. It hasn't done a lot of hard work, but it has done good. It's been put through the paces. This is not a safe queen. I do carry this knife, and it has been a user. Now, I take care of it because it's an expensive knife. It's a $400 knife, but yeah. So I love the blade. The only badging on the knife is, anything you're going to get from something Obscene Company, you're going to get the logo on. And they put it on both sides. And I think it's a dope freaking logo, so it don't bother me at all. Very good lockup on this. I like the jimping on the... back to the blade real quick. Did I talk about the jimping on there? The jimping is aggressive, but it doesn't mess with your thumb. Well, now that I said that, it does a little bit, but I love the jimping on this. There's also nice jimping along the lock bar, which gives you just enough to get its really good access to it. As you were seeing, you barely disengage and it falls. This will absolutely, until you figure it out, and being able to catch it a little bit right there, and you don't get your thumb out of the way. My thumb it's healing now, but my thumb really is starting to look like Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair's forehead. This has had so many gashes in it from this knife specifically, not being able to get my thumb out of the way in time, and because of that action, it comes down on it. It's very easy to disengage this knife and have it just completely guillotine close. One of the things I said I would change about this, again, if I am just nitpicking here. So this is PVD. The blade is more of a black wash blade. And I want to say, does it say on the card of authenticity, just so I'm not... it doesn't say what I'm... Well, I believe that this is PVD coated on the handles. I would like to see this be more of a black washed finish on here. Only because PVD, it keeps... Again, I'm nitpicking here, folks, but it harbors fingerprints. One of the same reasons why I don't like a satin blade, because of the fingerprints. I don't like PVD because of the fingerprints. I have the exact same complaint. I just happen to have it Oh, where is it? I have the exact same complaint about my Necronaut. My Arcane Design Necronaut. PVD coating on there. Now, the even the pivot collar is PVD coated. I would like to see those black washed. That's just me. Again, just because the way it harbors fingerprints. So, yeah, a black washed option on that, I would like more. Other than that, maybe I just, and again, I'm nitpicking. If I could make it perfect, I would like a bigger backspacer. But anyway, when I said it's not perfect, really all I meant was aesthetics-wise. You got really, you can reverse flick this. I'm gonna have to re-Loctite this again. You can, or middle finger flick this very simply. Very, very, very simple to middle finger flick. Thumb stud, on the other hand, you do gotta kind of come up underneath it to get to it. So you gotta break your grip just a little bit, and I do struggle sometimes with using my thumb on a thumb stud knife. You really gotta kind of get the hang of it, but middle finger flicking, all day. Again, that's where the flipper tab comes in handy when you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, you do have to get up underneath the thumb stud a little bit. At least with my big old nasty thick thumbs. Other than that though, everything else about this knife is an absolute winner. I think they're going to do one more run of these, and then that's going to be it. They're going to move on to, I guess, the 4.0 maybe. And I've heard that maybe it's going to be an integral or it's going to be a different variation. It's going to change a little bit. I'm glad that I was able to get one of these to add to the collection. I just think this is easily top 3 knives for me. I love the J-Cape. It's not for everybody. I get that. There's some people that just, it doesn't appeal to them aesthetically, and they're never going to go for it. It didn't appeal to me aesthetically right off the bat. Again, this is another knife that I had to get into hand to experience it and learn to love it. And boy, am I glad that I have. Because everything about it's awesome. It's just everything about it. So I have flicked this enough to where I'm going to probably take this apart, wipe out some of that Loctite on a stick, and reapply it. Just because I said I wasn't going to flick it, now I am. But that's it, folks. That's my rambling and disassembly like I said I was going to do. Made this a half-hour freaking long video, so I don't expect many people to watch this. Half hour is just too damn long sometimes, right? But anyway, I will, like I said, leave a link to the Skiff 6mm. If you want to give that a go, I do recommend doing it. I can notice a little bit difference in it, but yeah. I will also leave a link to my brother, the aforementioned Johnny J. Cape, the OG Knife Nerd of Knife Nerd Reviews. I'm going to leave a link to his new group page that he has started on Facebook. He posts a lot of stuff on there, the different mods that he's doing. And I will also leave a link to his YouTube channel. I'm sure you're already subscribed to him, but if you're not, you should be. And go over, if you're on Facebook, check him out on Facebook. So there's no one other than probably Felix himself. Okay, I'm not going to make that grandiose of a claim. John, though, is a J-Cape fiend. He's the one that turned me on to it. He's had 6 or 7 now variants. I think he's down to 4 in hand right now, but he's had a bunch. He's the one that talked me into trying one of these. He talked Frank, our brother Frank, Jedi_scum into getting one. He had originally gotten a V3, traded it up, and he has the exact same one as I do. He ain't lucky enough to have the clip like I am, though. Haha. No, I'm kidding. But, yeah, I'm going to link to Knife Nerd Reviews because he knows a shit ton about J-Capes, and I think I would call him the foremost J-Cape authority. He might not, but I do. And he's my friend, and he's a cool dude, and he's pretty, and I think you should go check him out. That's all we got, folks. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and check out this video right here. Did I line that up right? Anyway, in the meantime, appreciate it. And until I talk to you again, deuces.